that was the Lakers game. The first overtime game for the Wizards this season, I believe. It is about 8 minutes from 1 a.m., so there's a lot of things that I'm sure that I'm wrong about at this point in time because I am a little bit sleepy. Shout out to my biology, but also shout out to me for doing this because it was completely optional. Anyway, so yeah, Lakers and Wizards played, and essentially what I expected to happen was the buzzsaw of reality was going to come crashing down upon us because typically Wizards teams against LeBron historically, it doesn't matter if it's close or not. It just we have not fared well. They have not survived that onslaught, and yet tonight on February 23rd, the Wizards actually managed to defeat LeBron in the clutch, which is just not something I'd ever expect to say. Beating a LeBron-led team in the clutch, Wizards usually does not correlate, and yet here we are. So the main people that I was afraid of pretty much sort of doling out the punishment I expected the Wizards to get because of the fact that the Wizards had continued to sort of have this idea of not basically getting the brakes beaten off of them for the first quarter and then coming back. And I had a worry that this sort of trend wasn't going to maintain itself in a sustainable manner. But yet the Wizards were like, "Hey, what if we just prove you wrong and make you feel stupid, but also keep you awake for a very long time?" So mainly, obviously, LeBron James exists. He's pretty scary because he's like, just I don't know, kind of comparable to one of the goats, if not considered the goat of our generation at the very least. So you could say he's pretty darn good at this basketball thing, and if you give him free opportunities in transition, you're basically asking to get the breaks beaten off of you, and yet somehow the Wizards overcame that. Also, LeBron missed a lot of shots in the clutch, so I'm sure that there will be completely reasonable takes about it on all social media platforms that will definitely not decry his legacy, even though, let's be real, this is an overtime game against the Wizards on February, and LeBron is kind of known for playoff mode LeBron, so I'm not really gonna look at this as some indictment, but I'm sure somebody will. But yeah, no, LeBron was scary. So yeah, not only did the Wizards survive LeBron, they survived Montrezl Harrell. With AD out and Dennis Schroeder out, it was going to be interesting to see specifically who was going to contribute. I had a few suspects, like I said, and Montrezl Harrell was one of them. He came in and just started mauling and running house because none of our bigs could stay in front of him. He's pretty agile and he's hard to guard at times. Harrell's weakness is really just on the defensive end at times because he's a little undersized, but against the Wizards, you don't really have to worry about that given the fact of how defensively they tend to be. But yeah, man's had like 20 points and like, 7 rebounds? And I want to say a couple assists too. Dude was just everywhere. Alex Caruso was another one that was a bit of a nightmare to handle towards the end of this game. I was just like, Jesus Christ, please stop. Caruso, just for the love of God, can you stop grabbing boards and hustling and saving the ball at the last second? I want to go to bed, please. As far as it goes, like, there were plenty of threes to go around. Really, what made this game seem like it was going to be out of reach was the Wizards doing the whole first quarter thing that I described, essentially where they don't grab rebounds and they don't secure stops. Essentially, when you don't grab the defensive board, you're just giving the offense another chance. On top of that, they were turning it over, and pretty much the only contributors at the time were really Beal and Westbrook, outside some spot moments from Rui and Denny. But as the game continued, this actually evolved into something way better. Denny, Avia, and Rui Hachimura are the two pieces that a lot of fans are going to look at and see the future in these guys because of the fact of, one, where we drafted them, and two, their contributions could be incredibly vital for the Wizards, and this is a perfect example. Both Denny and Rui had a lot of great moments. One of those was both of them had moments where they read the plays perfectly and stole the ball, and it led to something. It led to something good. Beal and Westbrook were just phenomenal per usual, but I really just wanted to shout out Denny and Rui first. Rui was aggressive in the clutch. He helped spur this helped spur the Wizards forward, as well as this lineup that featured Denny too. And it was just really great to see the both of them clicking. And like I said, there was plays where both of them read the defense, got a steal, and helped something start on the other end. Also, totally random stat that I'm sure I'm wrong about. I'm pretty sure we're undefeated when Denny assists on a Bertans 3. Bertans, oh yeah, I remember him. He actually he was missing a lot of threes at first, so it was doom and gloom, and then he started hitting threes, and it was great because they were very timely. So when you add up timely threes from Bertans, which by the way, totally probably not a real stat, but every time Denny has assisted on a Bertans 3, the Wizards win a game. The first time was in that Denver game, I believe, and now he did it in the Lakers game every time. Denny's really good at getting boards and whatnot. He's been doing that a lot, but he's also finding guys in transition, which is nice to see. Like I said, him and Rui both were aggressive defensively. Rui had a magnificent double team on LeBron James at one point to force a turnover, which was just beautiful. And I was just really impressed with how they both played this game. It was very timely, and it helps for when Beal and Westbrook may not be playing as well to have those contributions from those two guys. And a really nice small ball lineup with Denny and Rui and Bertans, even though defensively you kind of give it up with Bertans because, like I said, Montrezl Harrell was eating us alive. And there were a couple calls that were like ticky-tack. I mean, I get it. You're on Lakers home floor, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, the refs just hate us. But, man, there were some calls that were just like, yikes. We got the win in overtime because Russell Westbrook he didn't hit his free throws at one point, but he hit a layup and LeBron missed a 3 that he typically hits. So, wow. It was a long game, and I was really happy to see that the Wizards managed to overcome their own deficiencies long enough to acquire a win in such a manner. Of course, there were other things too, like when Beal was getting trapped, I really liked how he was passing out of double teams, like when they came to trap him. Unfortunately, it didn't always result in something because the Lakers' defense is pretty good when it wants to be. And again, just the fact that we survived that, and Westbrook wasn't shooting that well at first, but this was all timeliness. The Wizards had a timeliness because at first it seemed like they were just going to be trading buckets with the Lakers all night, and we were just going to be not down 10 and then back down 10, and then all of a sudden we win in overtime because that's just how Wizards basketball works. If you try to derive any meaning from it, you'll lose your mind. And it was a fun game. I think it was a bit torturous at times. Now I would be excited. It's just like if the Lakers had taken us seriously for like a little bit longer, that game might have not ended as well. But hey, look, victory. Do you want to? It's a gift horse, whatever. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth or whatever people say. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna enjoy his victory because I'm sure it's gonna make a lot of fans confused and upset. I'm sure everyone is having rational takes right now about everything and anything. But yeah, shout out to Denny and Rui. I think those guys pretty much sealed the win. Denny had a clutch 3 at one point. Rui had a nice dunk. I'm very happy about those two guys, especially considering I think like recently like Denny fans have been ready to like put Scott Brooks into a cannon and fire him into the sun, which I mean, as far as coaching goes, if you just didn't have him as a coach, cool. But as far as like human goes, he's a good human being. I just don't like him as a coach. Wizards get the dub in OT. So far, have swept the West Coast road trip. My God, wow, impressive. This is impressive. This ability to come back is still worrisome because against a team that takes it serious and just continues to beat the brakes off the Wizards. Because some team is going to be like, okay, so we have to not play around because they might actually come back. And I think if the Wizards just clean up the turnovers and secure a rebound, please. So yes, while it's awesome that the Wizards got this win, I think if they clean up some things, they could start to be considered a potential threat to make the playoffs again. For now, I'm going to maintain my stout reluctance because Wizards basketball is very drunk and it has sometimes little to no logic. But at the end of the day, Beal scores a bunch of points. Westbrook hits some clutch layups and gets some clutch assists. Denny plays well. Rui plays great as well. Bertans hits some timely threes. And Wizards fans go to bed happy. Who knew? That sleep after a Wizards win do be hitting different. I'm not gonna lie. It do be hitting different. You just like, oh my god, we won. You go to bed after a Wizards loss. You be sad. This is probably gonna be the most messy. This is gonna be the most messy recap I've done. But essentially, it just boiled down to LeBron missed a bunch of. LeBron existed, and then he started missing. The Wizards did not give up on this game, even though I'm sure plenty of Wizards fans, including myself, were like, alright, if we lose, I'm not mad. But if we win, I'm not mad. We won, so I'm not mad. Great game, Wizards. Good game. Our next game is against the Clippers. I think PG's back. I'm gonna check on that. Let's see if hopefully we don't try this whole playing around thing and we just play with this effort for the whole game. It would do at least something to the sheer blood pressure alone that I'm sure rises. Collective Wizards fans' blood pressure it just rises every time. But yeah, let's get this dub. I'm not even gonna pretend to be realistic. Let's just get the victory. Let's do it. Let's beat the Clip. Let's sweep this road trip. Let's do it. Go for it, Wizards. I'm cool with it. I think Wizards fans are cool with it. We'd be back in the playoff hunt. We're only 7 games out of the 8th seed, or I guess the top spot. I don't know. Well, this guy says Clippers and Wizards have never met before. Have you seen like every Wizard's beard, dog? Like they don't shave. They don't do any of that. There's no reason. It would be stupid. Also, Wizards don't really do the whole boats thing either, because I'm sure someone's gonna be like, well, why didn't you make the obvious Clippers joke? Yes, Wizards don't go on boats either. They fly on brooms. Whoop-de-friggin' do. Can the Wizards sink ships tomorrow? Let's see. Will I be more sane tomorrow? Yes. WizWatch.